Dozens of sprawling military installations across Australia are currently at the center of a massive financial and environmental disaster. The government allocated $1.3 billion taxpayer dollars to support the communities affected by the contamination. The contamination involves a chemical compound called PFAS, which is heavily concentrated in the white foam firefighters use to suppress intense industrial blazes. Prosecutors are now seeking $2 billion from the manufacturer, 3M. The lawsuit alleges the company withheld internal lab results, proving environmental damage as early as 2004. Because this information was withheld for decades, these sites became long-term contamination zones where chemicals remain embedded in the soil, resisting simple cleanup. The resilience of PFAS comes from its molecular structure, a tight link between carbon and fluorine. This bond repels extreme heat, water, and oil. However, natural biological enzymes and microorganisms are powerless to break this carbon-fluorine chain apart. This resistance is why PFAS is known as a forever chemical, a synthetic substance that bypasses natural degradation cycles entirely. With no biological mechanism to destroy it, the compound continuously migrates outward from the original testing sites and into the surrounding environment. In the Wallonia region of Belgium, this outward migration has moved into everyday civilian settings. These toxic chemicals travel from the surface soil deep into the underground aquifers that supply our municipal drinking water. This contamination soon bypassed the kitchen sink as the chemicals worked their way into the local food chain. Health officials discovered that residents were ingesting high concentrations of PFAS through eggs laid by chickens raised in their own backyards. The industrial runoff has migrated past the factory gates and is now sitting directly on the consumer's dinner plate. Once consumed, these resilient synthetic particles enter the bloodstream and immediately attach themselves to the body's circulating proteins. They accumulate over time, hoarding themselves within the liver and kidneys because the body lacks a way to flush them out. Belgium has responded with a large-scale triage effort, using retrofitted mobile medical buses to screen the blood of any resident over 12 years old. Because medicine cannot currently extract these chemicals from human organs, tracking the internal spread is one of the only defensive measures available. While major lawsuits play out in court, the daily chemical exposure continues inside private homes. For years, household products have relied on PFAS for their convenience, including the non-stick coating on a typical frying pan. It is also found in closets, used to give functional jackets their water-resistant properties. Reducing personal exposure requires a direct shift in buying habits and a closer look at the materials inside common products. Since these compounds do not break down in nature, modifying consumer choices is the most effective way to prevent building a lifelong toxic burden.